in the hair versus hair match, they really felt that was going to be the best wrestling match, or maybe they felt that this past year, maybe they felt that the Pitbull performance was going to be extra spectacular.
I'm not going to see Pitbull at a wrestling show. I'm not there for that. If I'm going to a WrestleMania, I'm going because I am a wrestling fan.
I go because I'm a wrestling fan, but I'm not going to say that I expect to see the best wrestling. I expect to be entertained from a spectacle standpoint.
I take it to left field a little bit. Paul, you wouldn't relate so much because your New York Jets don't really get very, very, very far in the playoffs. Sorry.
Oh!
But if as a Cowboys fan, I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. I know this is a wrestling podcast, but kind of twisting things just a little bit. I'm not going to a Super Bowl just to go to a Super Bowl. I'm going to support something that I'm a diehard fan of.
That's you. What do you think most of the people go to a Super Bowl for?
Well, most of them are corporate people because they get free tickets.
Yeah. A lot of
commercials.
A lot of the people that go to the Super Bowl are going to the Super Bowl to say they went to a Super Bowl. They want to see the spectacle. It's because half of the matches they've already maybe played during the regular season, and tickets weren't $1,500
let's be
to
real.
see
it's a
the Ravens
event.
Versus the 49ers earlier in the year.
A lot of fans don't go because not many fans can afford it. Not your average like for myself. It would I'd have to save a few bucks if the Cowboys made it say they made it this coming year. I would have to save a few bucks to go because here's the thing, it's more of it's a corporate event, but as I put it, WrestleMania is a Super Bowl in my book of wrestling. Football, that's a Super Bowl. That's the biggest thing of the year. If my team's there, I'm more vested to pay up, get my tail down there, and watch the game. If it's the New York Jets, which that might not happen for another I don't know ever. New York Jets versus we'll say let's do
the Detroit Lions.
Detroit
2045.
Yeah, 2045. I'm watching it from home. I'm not going to it. It's for me. I'm more like here's the thing. Paul would donate a kidney to go to a Jets Super Bowl. I'm being straight with you, but
I've spent $300 or so on a WrestleMania ticket. If it was the same card as Battleground or Night of Champions, I could spend the same money and have like really good seats for one of those cards, and I don't. But I spend $300 for like a nosebleed seat to this. Because it's a spectacle. Because to me, it kind of transcends. It's wrestling with everything that's mixed up with it. I'm not going to see the best wrestling card of the year. If I wanted to see the best wrestling card of the year, I would probably fly out to Japan and see something that they have to offer and maybe their WrestleMania, because that might be the best wrestling card of the year because they're not selling you Lawrence Taylor. I mean, look at the main events of WrestleMania. Lawrence Taylor in the main event of WrestleMania, Floyd Money Mayweather versus The Big Show. That's one of your main events. I mean, Mickey Rourke versus Chris Jericho one year. I mean, again, that's not the best. Vince McMahon versus Bret Hart. That was Hulk Hogan versus Vince McMahon. These are some of like the worst matches in wrestling history.
I like the wrestling matches. I don't, I'm not. Yes, okay, it's a spectacle. You get, now we have our future president, our president now back.
The Rock versus John Cena. I mean, the second time around.
I just, to me,
that's the best wrestling match of the year.
I'm a wrestling purist. I mean, that's just, you're not gonna change my opinion on it. I'm a wrestling purist. If I'm gonna go to a WrestleMania, it's going to be because I want.
I was watching WrestleMania 19 the other day, and one of the matches. Speaking of the women's revolution, was the Miller Lite Catfight girls, who were synonymous with a Super Bowl ad at the time, in a bed throwing pillows around with Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler. I'm sorry, I don't think that holds up to Ring of Honor's top heavyweight championship match of the year in terms of the best wrestling things I've seen. But that's fine because it's WrestleMania, and to me, I don't think it's the best wrestling card of the year. I don't think it's probably even close. I think it's a spectacle.
It should be.
Well,
it should be. That's the way I look at it. If you're hyping it as the biggest event of the year, wrestling fans want to see.
They're hyping it as the biggest entertainment event of the year. And I've even noticed this a few times when WrestleMania hits the air, they've even said this. I want to say like the last 4 or 5 years. That little kind of video package right after they play the opening video package, and they say, "And now WWE presents." And they say, the biggest entertainment event of the year. They don't say greatest, most technical, athletic wrestling event of the year. They say the biggest entertainment event of the year. And that's what it is, and I'm fine with that's what it is. I really like wrestling. I'm just saying that if WrestleMania decided it was going to go the New Japan Pro Wrestling route and just have a bunch of the AJ Styles and Neville's just run the card, I don't think that they're going to get 100,000 people because none of those other kinds of wrestling get 100,000 people.
I guess we'll have to see what happens.
That was probably our longest first question of the week. So we have 2 more for you folks. From a WWE standpoint, do you think it's productive to even think or plant seeds for WrestleMania matches 6 to 8 months in advance? The reason I brought this up is I saw today on one of the wrestling websites, somebody talking about the seeds starting to be planted for John Cena versus Roman Reigns. My idea is I'm getting to a point where I know the John Cena versus Rock thing, that was great. But other than that, I don't even kind of want WWE to even think about what they're going to be doing for WrestleMania because there's just so much that can happen and there's so many injuries that take place almost all the time that I just think if you go into a board meeting and you're like, all right, so we're obviously all in agreement what we want for WrestleMania. Like, that shouldn't even be on your thought bubble right now. What should be on your thought bubble is what's in front of you. WrestleMania season, maybe start thinking about what you want to do around Survivor Series time. You stole my thunder, Jared. You're obviously you're looking in my brain or something. I was literally going to say that you do not start it before Survivor Series. Ideally, Royal Rumble, but I say go as early as Survivor Series, and this isn't about starting, and it's not even just about planting the seeds on TV. I'm saying if I was to go into a WWE board meeting and just even mention what I want or what I think would be a good WrestleMania match, they should say, shut up. That's what I think. Like, I don't even think it should be talked about. I don't think they should even... somebody say, what do you think would be a cool main event for WrestleMania next year? I think everybody in the boardroom should say, I don't know. I haven't thought about that at all.
Here's the thing. The scripts are already pretty much done for WrestleMania already. I mean, I think we can one can assume that. I mean, they make adjustments on the fly with injuries and other things that kind of happen.
And that's the problem because then they have to make adjustments. They have matches set in their mind, and then they have to kind of work around them. When if you just don't have them set, and then you can start to make them when it seems more viable of who you have in November and December, then they seem more organically than trying to set up John Cena versus Triple H 2 for WrestleMania 22 or WrestleMania 23, and then Triple H going out in injury and then having to put somebody new in there. If you didn't have that kind of built, you didn't have to be forced to have an alternate route.
No, I feel you on that. Now let me ask you this, Paul. Let me throw this at you. I mean, where do you stand? I think Jared and I agree. No earlier than Survivor Series. Ideally, I would say Royal Rumble, but Survivor Series at the earliest. So where do you stand on this, Paul?
Yeah, I'll be short and sweet and to the point here. I'm an organic guy. I like how things organically happen. I don't like when people try to play God, and in this situation, I don't like when the wrestling gods try to outthink themselves. I would rather the situation play out for itself, and then it becomes a situation where it organically happens. Like, oh, this is the match. I don't like if 6 or 7 months in advance we see it like seeds being planted. I think, like you said with the Cena and Rock thing, I think that was a special circumstance, and I think we should keep it as a special circumstance.
Yeah, no, I agree that was a special circumstance. And like I said, I don't think that we should... I just hate reading the rumor shows about them saying... well, next year WrestleMania, next year WrestleMania, who even knows who's going to be around? Stop with this nonsense of they want, who's Undertaker going to fight next year? Is Undertaker going to come back?
He's done.
Or, John Cena, they're going to have, I just read even in pre-WrestleManias, before WrestleMania, they're like, they're going to have John Cena fight this guy this year because they want to have him fight this guy next year. And WrestleMania, other than the tickets being on sale for it, when the tickets go on sale for it, that's when you should start thinking about actually building the card and and tickets go on sale in October and November. Okay? Because as of right now, tickets aren't even on sale and the event cannot even happen. The event, WWE could go under and WrestleMania 34 could not even exist. Not saying that that's a high possibility, but stop building a card for something you haven't even sold tickets for yet. Or stop even thinking about what you would potentially want it to be.
Yeah,
stop with the hypotheticals.
Yeah.
Just SummerSlam's in front of you. Worry about making SummerSlam the best card you can be and with who you have. That's all I'm saying. I just hate reading about because none of them ever come true. I read same with the Royal Rumble sometimes. People tell me in summer, they want him to return at the Royal Rumble. He's not even gone yet. They're already planning him to leave and then he's going to return at the Royal. Let him just be him now.
Or call up an NXT guy for a Rumble. That's where I'm at.
So the third question of the week, Renee Young and Daniel Bryan last night on the social media app Tout, which nobody uses and I've never heard of before except for in the WWE world, decided they were going to go rogue and have their own episode of Talking Smack in which they entitled Smacking Talk. My question is, how rogue do you think this really was?
Okay, first thing, the best part of what you just said to sell the question is tout. I've never really heard of it. That, to me, that is not rogue at all. It's not like you're going on, ESPN or something, or you're going on the network, pushing something. It's tout. Before you told me that, I had no idea what the hell tout was when I read the questions until you said that. So to me, it ain't rogue. Come on, man. That's not.
I think this is pretty simple, actually. I think, the WWE is doing social experiments. They're trying to see what they think they can cut with, saving the bottom dollar, but also not upsetting the fan base. Because as we've said before in a previous questions of the week, we're like, Triple H and the WWE shouldn't upset the fans that pay the bills, because that's what makes this thing as beautiful as it is. So for me, I think that they talked about cutting Talking Smack and cut Talking Smack, and everyone, you get kind of an uproar from the fan base. So then they're like, oh, I know perfectly what we could do. We can have Renee and Daniel Bryan, go rogue and say, against the company, against the, what are they called? The Authority, that's it. So they're against the Authority. Oh, let's keep it going, because that's what it originally was when we had the brand split between Raw and SmackDown. So for me, it's just great, it's business. So I think that's what really happened here, is that, a lot of the fan base really enjoy Talking Smack, so they brought it back in a unique way.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. And, I'm kind of seeing Jerry Lawler had an opinion this week of why he thinks they cut Talking Smack. And it's essentially that a lot of the wrestlers that are on Talking Smack, who have to maybe travel to the next city or go home because their vacation starts as soon as they're done wrestling, were forced to kind of stick around, especially like they said, the production team. When the ring and the set is pretty much half taken down, they were forced to stick around and keep the backstage thing going till, 11 o'clock at night, when, let's say, a Jinder Mahal could have taken off in his car at 8:30 when his segment was done and head home, and now he's forced to stick around for the entire show because he's got a 1.5 minute segment on this Talking Smack show. And it was not just the wrestlers, but the crew, just everybody having to stick around. They said that was a big negative. I don't think this is, too rogue, mainly because I don't see either of them doing anything on their own that wouldn't have Vince's approval. He probably said, go for it, if you want to do this, as well as the fact that it's on Tout, which is something, again, I've never heard of outside of WWE. So maybe they're just trying to resell that again. Because if you remember, it was like a couple years ago, they were really trying to sell that Tout thing. Before the WWE Network, they were selling that as like your key to like when Raw went to commercial breaks, that on Tout over, the commercial breaks, this or that happened. So maybe it's them trying to resell that again. I do not know, but come on now. I don't think it was really them going rogue. But when we return, a quick tweet of the week, and we're going to end this week's show as you're listening to the Heel to Face podcast on Sports War Radio, Rat Pack Radio, and now on iTunes.
The New York Jets are rising and are ready to compete in the AFC. Boy Green and Ty Butler will give you everything you need to know about the Jets every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. From reviewing the previous game and looking ahead to the next matchup, to all of the news and its 4 downs, the Jet Zone has everything. Follow @BoyGreen25 and @TyDButler on Twitter. Proud member of Sports War Radio. Let the battle begin.
This program is simulcast on WRPR Rat Pack Radio. Go to ratpacksports.com for more information.
Do you want to stay up to date on the latest sports news? Come check out After the Whistle from 4 to 5 p.m. every Friday night. We talk about the NHL, we talk about the NFL, we talk about the MLB, you name it, we got it. Tune in on Sports War Radio.
Now is the time to get your voice heard. Sports War Radio is now accepting applications for driven and knowledgeable sports fans who want to start their very own podcast about their favorite team. Sports War Radio has an international audience and is growing fast. Don't miss the chance to become the go-to news source for your favorite team. Email sportswarradio@gmail.com and tell us why you would be a great addition to our team. Sports War Radio. Let the battle begin.